It is the 6th of November, 2021. Welcome to the Christian History Almanac, brought to you by 1517 at 1517.org. I'm Dan Van Forest. Oh boy, today I have a story for you that ties together some of my favorite things. We've got baseball, we've got Frank Sinatra, and church history. So let's go. Maybe you know this song. It goes, Chicago, Chicago, that toddling town. Chicago, Chicago, I will show you around. Bet your bottom dollar you'll lose the blues in Chicago, Chicago, the town that even Billy Sunday couldn't shut down. Now, you might know this song, written by Fred Fisher in the early 1900s. It became a Sinatra staple, but many have asked, who is Billy Sunday and why can't he shut Chicago down? Well, Billy Sunday was, of course, William Ashley Sunday, the former Chicago White Stockings player who left baseball for the YMCA, and then to become one of the most popular revival preachers of the early 1900s, and someone that another Billy Graham, took as an inspiration. So let's hit the major beats of Sunday's life. He was born in Iowa in 1862. His father joined the Union Army and died within months from pneumonia. Billy and his brother were then sent to an orphanage set up for Union widows who couldn't afford to raise their children. He established himself as an athlete and played in various local baseball leagues in Iowa in the 1870s. The grandmother of Cap Anson saw him play and called her son the then player-manager of the Chicago White Stockings, and she suggested that he sign Sunday. Anson met Sunday and had him challenge the fastest player on the team to a foot race. Sunday won and joined the team. This is a slight tangent, but stay with me. Way too often I read that Billy played for the White Sox. He didn't. I understand the mistake, but the original National League White Stockings went on to change their name a number of times. The Rough Riders, the Orphans, and the Colts. The team names weren't official, but rather the sports writers came up with them. Now, when the American League started a new Chicago team, they took the name White Stockings after the old Chicago White Stockings. And then so many of the former White Stockings, now called the Colts, left for better money in the American League, and that led the old Chicago team to be called the equivalent of the junior varsity team. The name back then for a JV club was the Cubs team. Hence, the former White Stockings became the Cubs. Fun fact, later the Chicago football Staleys would play at Cubs Park, and in honor of their hosts, called themselves the Bears, because they're bigger than Cubs. Sunday was not a particularly good player. He had 84 stolen bases in 1890, but his career OPS was .617, and that's just a fancy way of saying he couldn't hit. Sunday himself told the story of walking in Chicago and passing the Pacific Garden Mission. Hearing the hymns he heard as a small boy from his mother, he went inside, and the rest of his life wouldn't be the same. He left baseball, although his hitting stats suggest that he and baseball kind of parted mutually, and he began work for the YMCA. He was invited to preach at a revival in 1896 and lived most of the rest of his life traveling from meeting to meeting. It is thought that he is only second to Billy Graham in terms of number of people preached to in America. He could project from his diaphragm such that large audiences could hear him without enhancement. He began moving about with tents, but he was famously fastidious about the revival's physical aesthetic. So soon he began to require towns to build a temporary wooden tabernacle for him to come preach. These would become so numerous that Billy's colloquialism for coming down the aisle was walking the sawdust trail. His style was over the top. He would tell the story of a Christian just barely being saved, and he would illustrate this by running on stage and then sliding head first. He was ordained in the Presbyterian Church in 1903, but that seems to have been more of a formality. His theology was fundamentalist, and he reserved his harshest words for alcohol. He became a prominent prohibition speaker, and his sermons and political speeches became almost indistinguishable. Stories have been told that his prohibition sermons were so strong that in some cases the townspeople would leave the tabernacle and go close down the saloon. But despite success in some places, he was not able to gain traction in other cities, most notably the center of roaring 20s madness, Chicago, that toddling town that even Billy Sunday couldn't shut down. Sunday was among the first of the showmen evangelists, a kind of P.T. Barnum meets George Whitefield. He inspired Amy Semple McPherson, and Billy Graham claims to have made his decision to begin his crusades after a meeting with Sunday's widow. A colorful and controversial figure in the church, he is still beloved in certain circles, and he's got a quote about Christians and cars and garages that's always in sermons. The quote's something like, "Going to church doesn't make you a Christian any more than being in a garage makes you a car." William Ashley Sunday died on this, the 6th of November in 1935, just weeks after attending the World Series. Born in 1862, Billy Sunday was 72 years old. The last word for today comes from Isaiah 25. We read, "On this mountain the Lord of hosts will make for all peoples a feast of rich food, a feast of well-aged wine, of rich food full of marrow, of aged wine well refined. And he will swallow up on this mountain the covering that is cast over all peoples, the veil that is spread over all nations. He will swallow up death forever, and the Lord God will wipe away tears from all faces. And the reproach of his people he will take away from all the earth. For the Lord has spoken." This has been the Christian History Almanac for the 6th of November 2021, brought to you by 1517 at 1517.org. This show is produced by a man born in West Lafayette, but a one-time resident of that toddling town. He is Christopher Gillespie. The show is written and read by a man with a shout-out today to Zach James Cole and all the other Braves fans. Ooh, boy, you did it. You slayed the evil Empire 2.0. I'm Dan Van Forest. You can catch us here every day. And remember that the rumors of grace, forgiveness, and the redemption of all things are true. Everything is going to be okay.